Your mind is a battlefield. Every thought, emotion, and impulse shapes the life you live. Yet most people drift through it unconsciously, enslaved by fear, desire, and distraction. The modern world is relentless. Stress, social pressure, uncertainty, and constant noise pull your attention in every direction. But there is a path to reclaim control, to reprogram your mind from reaction to reason, from chaos to clarity. That path is Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus discovered centuries ago how to cultivate a mind that is disciplined, resilient, and free. And today, their wisdom can transform you. Here's the hook. Imagine a mind that cannot be manipulated by circumstance, a mind that remains calm in chaos, focused under pressure, and guided by reason rather than impulse. Imagine turning fear into clarity, frustration into strategy, and desire into discipline. This is not fantasy. This is the Stoic way, a systematic, timeless method to reprogram your mind for strength, clarity, and freedom. The first step is awareness. Observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Notice the impulses that arise when you feel fear, anger, or anxiety. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Awareness creates space. In that space, you gain the power to choose. The mind stops reacting blindly and begins acting deliberately. Every thought becomes an opportunity to cultivate mastery. Next is understanding control. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You cannot control others, circumstances, or the world, but you can govern your perception, judgment, and response. Mastery begins internally, where your mind decides what matters and what does not. Emotional mastery is essential. The untrained mind is enslaved by impulses, fear, and desire. The Stoic observes emotions, interprets them, and channels them productively. Seneca wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Anger becomes insight, anxiety becomes focus, loss becomes clarity. By practicing this daily, the mind rewires itself from reactive to disciplined, from scattered to deliberate. Detachment reinforces transformation. External events, material wealth, and social approval are fleeting. Marcus Aurelius practiced detachment to focus on what truly mattered: his judgment, his reasoning, his virtue. By letting go of what you cannot control, you reclaim energy, focus, and serenity. True power lies in mastering the mind, not manipulating the world. Perspective rewires experience. Challenges are opportunities. Adversity is training. Epictetus emphasized that hardship strengthens the mind and cultivates wisdom. When you view difficulties as tools for growth rather than punishments, the mind adapts, becoming resilient, disciplined, and unshakable. Each failure, disappointment, or loss is transformed into fuel for mastery. Daily reflection and practice cement the change. Journaling, meditation, and self-inquiry allow the mind to evaluate reactions, reinforce discipline, and align with virtue. Ask yourself, did I act with reason? Did fear or desire influence my choice? Did I respond with integrity? Through consistency, your mind rewires itself to respond deliberately rather than reactively, creating lasting transformation. Gratitude and humility amplify the process. Recognize what is truly yours: your thoughts, your choices, your discipline, your character. Seneca wrote, "He is most powerful who has himself in his own control." Happiness, resilience, and clarity are cultivated internally. External circumstances cannot touch them. Life's storms no longer control your mind. They refine it. Action completes the reprogramming. Stoicism is deliberate, not passive. Every choice, word, and action becomes an exercise in mastery. By aligning thoughts, emotions, and deeds with reason and virtue, the mind strengthens itself. You are no longer a passive observer. You are the architect of your inner reality. Even amidst modern chaos, stressful work, social pressure, family obligations, the Stoic mind remains unshakable. Criticism, failure, and loss may arise, but they do not dictate your internal state. Marcus Aurelius faced plague, war, and betrayal, yet maintained serenity. Epictetus rose from slavery to teach freedom of mind. Seneca endured exile and hardship, yet cultivated peace. Their lives prove that Stoic mastery is timeless, adaptable, and transformative. Stand now. Observe your thoughts. Reclaim control. Detach from the uncontrollable. Align your actions with virtue. Reflect daily. Strengthen your mind through awareness, emotional mastery, and reason. Reprogram your mind the Stoic way and transform fear into clarity, chaos into calm, and reaction into deliberate choice. Rise above distraction, fear, and impulsive reaction. Choose clarity, discipline, and virtue. Let Stoic wisdom guide your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. The mind, once reactive and scattered, becomes deliberate, resilient, and unshakable. This is the Stoic path. This is the way to reprogram your mind and master it forever. Once your awareness is sharpened and your mind begins to respond deliberately rather than reactively, the next stage is intentional conditioning. Stoicism is not merely philosophical, it is practical. Every thought, every reaction, every choice is an opportunity to reprogram the mind for resilience, clarity, and strength. Consider the words of Marcus Aurelius. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. What you repeatedly focus on, what you repeatedly rehearse in your mind, shapes your mental architecture. If fear dominates your inner dialogue, fear becomes your reality. If discipline dominates your choices, clarity and control become your default state. Modern life bombards you with constant distraction. Social media notifications, urgent emails, relentless comparisons, and the ever-present pressure to perform. The untrained mind is hijacked by every stimulus, every opinion, and every unexpected event. Here, Stoicism becomes a shield. By deliberately choosing where to focus your attention, you reclaim the energy that others try to steal. Practice daily pauses, brief moments to center yourself, to observe your thoughts, to ask, "Is this worth my mental energy?" These pauses, though small, train the mind to resist automatic reaction and respond with reason. Another essential Stoic practice is negative visualization. Seneca advised imagining loss, hardship, or failure, not to invite misery, but to prepare the mind for inevitability. When you anticipate the worst, when you mentally rehearse challenges, the actual events lose their power to disturb you. Modern stress often arises from surprise and expectation. Stoicism neutralizes both. By contemplating what is beyond your control, you strengthen your capacity to face reality with composure, to remain calm when life deviates from your desires. Gratitude is the counterbalance. Stoic mastery is not cold or detached, it is centered and precise. Every morning, recognize what remains within your control, your judgment, your values, your effort. Appreciate what is good, what is enduring, what shapes your character. This recognition rewires the mind to seek internal sources of fulfillment rather than external validation, building a fortress of self-sufficiency and emotional stability. Finally, action cements transformation. Knowledge without practice is ineffective. When the mind learns to observe, detach, and reframe, it must then act in alignment with these principles. Each deliberate choice, each reasoned response strengthens neural pathways of discipline, composure, and clarity. Over time, the mind ceases to be reactive. It becomes intentional. Stoicism trains you to respond not as the world demands, but as your reason dictates, by integrating awareness, intentional focus, negative visualization, gratitude, and disciplined action. The mind undergoes profound rewiring. Chaos no longer dictates your state. Fear no longer dominates your decisions. Emotional turbulence becomes manageable, and clarity becomes habitual. Stoic wisdom does not promise an easy life. It promises a life under your command, a mind unshakable by circumstance, and a freedom that no external event can steal.